皆さん、じゃあ始めます。皆さん、こんにちは。Japanese, do you know Japanese? 皆さん、こんにちは。Today's speech, everybody Japanese. No, joke, sorry. Practice English, but I'm very shy. And many times practice. ぜひゆっくり頑張っているので聞いてください。Yeah, sorry. I can't speak English. Can you speak Japanese? No, yes or no? Can you speak Japanese? No, okay. I'm from Fukushima. My organization supports Fukushima kids. But my hometown is 2,000 kilometers to Miyazaki Prefecture. And support Iraq and Sumatra earthquake and Niigata earthquake. And many places support my organization. And Fukushima kids is under 6 years. Is 2011 is everybody inside. Don't touch tree, don't touch glasses, don't touch leaf. Coming my hometown Miyazaki is first time touched leaf. Oh, this is leaf. And this is the present, my friend, in 2011 and 2012, 2013 situation. Now cleaning is a Fukushima regulation is sometimes no problem, sometimes problem. My organization supports under 6 years, and next is under 7 to 12, and 13 to 15 is go to Australia, and 16 to 18 is come in Germany. And this year, the 9 students come in Germany, study new energy, solar and wind, and many solar power, new energy, and speech to Fukushima situation. ぜひ頑張るので聞いてください。Oh, sorry. Okay. じゃあ、アースウォーカーズ NPO 法人、ノンプロフィットオーガニゼーション、ノンガバメントオーガニゼーション、アースウォーカーズ。Earth Workers and founder next is 今日準備していただいた独日ベルリンセンターからちょっと一言挨拶してもらいます。どうぞ会長さんお願いします。
始まってるよ。
こんにちは、oder guten Tag. Mein Name ist Sachiko Ziska. Ich bin die Vorsitzende von der Deutsch-Japanischen Gesellschaft Nordwest-Oldenburg。私は幸子千塚と申します。私は独日協会北西オルデンブルクの会長をしております。福本さんから連絡を受けたのが本当に短い期間で、それと夏休みがあっていろいろな連絡を取り合うのが非常に大変で、でも今回5人の方が来てくださって交流ができるの嬉しいです。Herr Fukumoto hatte mir Mail geschickt, aber das war so kurzfristig und dann alles organisieren war sehr, sehr schwierig und kompliziert, aber trotzdem haben wir 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Leute noch mit ihm zusammen. Und wir haben eine Mitglieder hatte vor 2 Jahren ein Haus gebaut und dadurch haben sie eine neuartige, diese hydraulische, die mit Solarsystem, alle komplette gebaute neue System. Er hatte zugesagt, dass er erklären wird und dann noch die zeigen wird. Das freut mich sehr. Und noch eins, ich wollte die herzlich begrüßen, Professor Mittenberg, der Universitätsprofessor, besonders hydraulische Gebiet arbeitete, und die Professor Dr. Hoffmann ist eine Kollegin gewesen. Und er würde die später eine kurz 20 Minuten oder eine halbe Stunde kurz seine Gebiete erklären wollte. Also, ich wollte nicht lange Deutsch reden. And ich freue mich sehr, dass es geklappt hat.
はい。では、誰からスピーチしますか？ OK。じゃあどうぞ。
Hello everyone, my name is Ami Shira. I'm 15 years old. My special ability is playing the piano and playing volleyball. I was 7 years ago, at 1446, on March 11, 2011. At that time, I was a second grader in elementary school. I came home from school and I was practicing a piano in a hut next to my house. I was surprised when a big tremor suddenly came and I hid under the piano. Then the piano came down toward me, and it was almost a narrow escape. I have remembered I had had a very terrible experience. I have never watched the pictures such as big buildings washed by tsunami, those who called my help, those who crashed down with pale faces on TV so far. I have never heard the words such as magnitude 9.0, nuclear power accident, radioactive material diffusion. I was at a loss. I felt something unreal had happened somewhere in the distance. But such imagination disappeared immediately. A large amount of radioactive materials leaked to Fukushima Prefecture where I lived due to the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant accident. When a large amount of radioactive substances was spilled, the risk of suffering from cancer and cataract would increase, and there was a possibility people might be affected with them. Therefore, many people had to evacuate if they didn't have a direct damage of the tsunami. I was also one of the victims. I was afraid I was exposed to radiation. My father, my younger brother, and I evacuated to Ehime Prefecture. I was 500 miles away from Fukushima because my relatives lived there. Since my mother was a child carer, she said she dealt with the support of little children in Fukushima. About 1 month after the earthquake, my elementary school restarted, so I returned my hometown again, but my close friends had gone. They had already moved. It was shocking to me. I wanted to say goodbye to them. I thought they had a same feeling as me. I had a deep hatred for this catastrophe. I realized how valuable the days I spent with my family and my friend. I wondered what I could do for victims of this earthquake. I camped the earth injured by returning to the very day the earthquake occurred. I regret to say I have few things I can do. Even so, I can't think the past. I have a chance to change the future. I try to make efforts every day to become a history teacher in the future. I think teaching studies is not only aim of teachers. Teachers should tell children their experiences they have succeeded and failed, and support them so that they can make their dreams come true. The reason why I participated in this program was to enrich my life, and by interacting and communicating with high school
次お願いします。
Hello everyone, my name is Koki Yoshida. I come from Koriyama City in Fukushima Prefecture. I will turn 60 years old on August 16. My hobby is singing, and I belong to chorus group in my school. Today, I'm going to talk about my experience in Fukushima. There were a lot of smiles in my life, but the earthquake changed everything. I had to move to a place since then. I was sad to go away from my friends in Fukushima. I was anxious if I can make new friends in new places. But I had a chance to appear in the movie. It's about Hiroshima atomic bomb survival. It was modeled after Miss Sadako Sasaki. She is a bomb victim of Hiroshima bombing who kept holding paper casings at hospital. I acted as a boy who was exposed to a bomb and spent time with her until she dies. After that, I went back to Fukushima. Then I met one teacher and he inspired me a lot. He kept saying, "You can do it." He helped me and I became good at studying. And I realized what I would like to do in future. So I want to be a teacher to encourage students. I also have one more dream. I would like to build a society where everyone has their own views and thoughts and can fully express them. As globalization progresses, it is becoming essential that each person has his or her own standpoint. For that reason, I would like to start shaping my perspective and expressing them proactively. When I become a teacher, I would like to pass on the message to the next generation. As I participate in this project, I would like to improve my communication skills. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Anna Hattori. I come from Nihonmatsu City in Fukushima Prefecture. I'm 15 years old and freshman in high school. My hobby is eating sweets. I like chocolates very much. If you have any sweets to recommend, please tell me. And I have 3 boyfriends, so I'm happy. Just joking. I'm very nervous. Now I will give my speech. When I was second year elementary school student, the earthquake happened. At that time, the whole class was in music room on 3rd floor. We had just done the end of the day meeting. The atmosphere of the class was happy because spring vacation was approaching. However, it quickly became gloomy. At first, everything swayed a little from side to side. After that, it became bigger and bigger. At the same time, instruments that had been on display from the shelf. It made very unpleasant sounds. We followed the school announcement and ran away to the schoolyard in panic. There were severe aftershocks again and again, which continued for a long time. I had crying and I saw a lot of uneasy looks. I think I also had memory. I wish it was a nightmare. If it had been just a dream, it would have been much better. A few days later, I saw a mushroom cloud on TV. Yes, it was an explosion generated by the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant accident. At the time, I was too young to make sense of it, and I tried to take walks outside. The adults, on the other hand, had more information, and they prevented me from walking outside. In Japan, there were various ways of thinking about the accident. Of course, my parents also had their own thoughts. As a result, my family moved away in April 2011. It was a voluntary evacuation. The people in the town that we had evacuated to were very kind to us. My family was able to live happily for the last 7 years. However, I felt sad whenever I saw news on TV or the internet that voluntarily evacuated children were bullied. It made me wonder it was okay for me to be so happy. I appreciate all the people who helped me. I could have a go at new things and enjoy many things. I was able to move on and return to Fukushima last year because I learned the importance of taking on new challenges. 7 years have passed since that accident. Now, I'm interested in thyroid inspection. I have not thought about Japan and Fukushima before in this way. However, I do now. As for nuclear power plants, 6 out of 59 plants in the country are currently in operation. It is unfortunate that we continue to rely on nuclear energy. At the same time, I took interest in Germany that has high percentage of renewable energy. I'd like to understand more the difference between Japan and Germany. This is how the Great East Japan earthquake changed me. Thank you.
Oh, I am Koki. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk about Fukushima Prefecture. First, I will talk about my experience on the day of the disaster. When the earthquake occurred, I was 8 years old. A great shake continued for a long time. The doors in the classroom made a loud noise, so I thought they would break. I hid under the desk and waited for about 2 minutes to be settled. My friends were crying. Then, teachers led us to the schoolyard. We escaped with the broom shoes on. My city was cold and snowed too much. The elementary school building was old and it was dangerous, so we could not return to the building. While the earthquake continued, we waited for parents to pick us up in the schoolyard. And then, parents came to pick up the children one after another. But my father came to pick me up at the end. I was worried, but I felt relieved when he came to school. My grandfather's house is 50 kilometers from the nuclear power plant, and my house is 100 kilometers if you draw a straight line from the nuclear power plant. The accidents became more and more serious, so my mother recommended them to evacuate to my house. At first, my grandfather's car arrived at the hospital of my city. They got the radioactivity test then. When they had a check, a laboratory technician advised them, please take a bath, wash your hair and body thoroughly, and wash your clothes. At that time, I thought radioactivity is dangerous anyway, but he told us that we can wash off radioactive substances. So I was pretty relieved, and I think he's a great man. Our dream. I'd like to be an energy researcher. After the nuclear power plant incident, there were many opportunities to learn about nuclear power plant. I have learned how technology relies on fossil fuels. Also, I learned the possibilities and programs of renewable energy. The reason why I want to participate in this project is that Germany's environmental consciousness are highly evaluated from people around the world, as Germany is said to be an environmentally advanced country. In Japan, many researchers and companies try to develop renewable energy, but it is still difficult to use it effectively. Those traveling around Germany, I'd like to learn and understand about renewable energy and think of the way to make use of these to realize my dream. Now, I am studying perovskite solar batteries in high school club activities. The solar battery developed for the first time in 2009 and attracted worldwide attention.
児玉さんの Facebook から入れば入る。
Various researchers have already
児玉さんの Facebook からすぐできる。
performed better than solar batteries made from silicon. The merit of it is that it is easy to manufacture and it can be made at a lower cost than silicon batteries. But the disadvantage is that durability is low and it has not been used for products. However, many researchers all over the world are researching to overcome these problems. I am also trying hard to make it more useful. I think perovskite solar batteries can be one way to solve the energy problems all over the world in the near future. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, I'm Ika Yamamoto. I am 15 years old, the first grade of senior high school. I like playing soft tennis very much. I live in Fukushima, Japan. My house is located in 80 kilometers northwest from the Fukushima nuclear plant. Please listen to my story.
消さないで。
On Friday,
消さないでっつうの。
2011,
見えてんだよ。
my mother and my little
消されちゃった勝手に。
then
わ
suddenly
かった。
my heart
誰も
started
見え
shaking.
消さないで。
shaking. The shaking became bigger and bigger.
またもおかしくしないでよ。
My mother said, "Get out, get out, get out of here." This really my brother and I from the window. We rushed to a big parking lot near my house. A gentleman in my neighborhood helped us.
もうやだやだ、直さない。
From the car window, we saw the
もうめんどくさい。
by the big earthquake.
消ししないでよ。
Shaking has never stopped on that day. I
余
watched
計なことしないで。
TV show many houses were destroyed by the tidal wave.
消さないでっつうの私の。
I finally realized that the big incident had happened.
もうやだ、この人
The
たちい
water
じん
supply
ないで。
was stopped, and we shared the well water and meals with my neighbor. 5 days later, we evacuated to my uncle's place in Yokohama City.
終
It
わっ
is
ちゃうよ、彼女。
15 kilometers away from Fukushima. Because of the earthquake, train did not run in Fukushima. My father took a day from work and
切らないで。
the station which get on a train. My father stayed in Fukushima by himself. I
切
didn't
ら
know
ないでく
by
ださい。
being away from Fukushima. I felt that being apart from my father. In Tokyo and Yokohama, because we had a lot of luggage, everyone noticed we came from Fukushima. Many people said to us, "That's tough. Are you okay? Good luck." When we reached to my uncle's house, I understood the reason. That was the radiation effect from the explosion of the Fukushima nuclear power plant. 2 weeks later, elementary schools in Fukushima decided to start the classes again. However, after that, we always need to wear masks, not expose our skin, not try to go outside, not try to touch sand on the ground. Athletic meeting in school was this week. There were no more swimming classes at school. I was forced to wear a badge which measured radiation exposure. Many people all over Japan came to Fukushima and stayed in Fukushima so as to solve the problems on the nuclear power plant after a big accident. After the Fukushima nuclear power plant explosion caused by the big earthquake, our daily life has been totally changed, and many things have been restored. 3 years old, my house was decontaminated. The radioactive contaminants covered my house in my backyard now. Dealing with radioactive contaminants is a big problem in Japan. Since some evacuation districts area has been cancelled, elementary schools and junior high schools in those areas restarted, but there are only a few students go to those schools. Totally, so many people were forced to change their daily life. Every day in Fukushima, the situation of the process for shutting down the Fukushima nuclear power plant is reported on TV and newspapers. 7 years have passed since the Fukushima nuclear power plant accident. For the Fukushima people, the hardship from radiation effects are ongoing programs. Different things or nuclear power plants in Fukushima are going to shut down. Tokyo Electric Power Company's president said to Fukushima Prefectural Governor. However, nobody knows the detail and what exactly happened. We have to keep watching that process for so many years, decades, and centuries. In this time, lucky thanking to the earth workers, I could come here. I really want to hear voice from Fukushima. I really want to know how you consider about us honestly. We can exchange our idea and we want to think over the solutions. After I go back to Japan, this experience in here will be shared to push me. I want to get more knowledge and take action concretely for the world peace, safe, and trusted environment. We are not alone, live together. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ryo Azuma. Can you pronounce? I like K-pop music. Do you like K-pop music? I want to be a Japanese teacher in the future. Can you feel what I felt? You have knowledge about nuclear power plant accident, but you don't know what I felt. The day of the earthquake, I was in the Japanese lessons at school. It was an ordinary day until the earthquake occurred. But after it happened, everything was changed. There were fallen books and rolling pencils. From here, we heard rumbling sounds. It was enough for a third grade child to fear. But it was not just that. The earthquake caused the nuclear power plant accident. Environment was what was affected the most. When we say environment, we tend to think such as forest and fields. But in this speech, environment means personal relationships. Some people around me left Fukushima because of the accident. I still remember a girl of the same class evacuated to Hokkaido. Another strange thing during the incident was school lunch. Our school used white rice, which produced in Fukushima Prefecture. But after the nuclear power plant accident, we were allowed to take homemade rice, even though it may seem to be a small thing. For elementary school children, lunch was one of the enjoyment for every day. I remember well. For some period, I took rice from my house and ate it, while some of the students ate rice of Fukushima. I didn't feel like eating Fukushima rice because I watched the news nearly every day that criticized the crops and the rice produced in Fukushima Prefecture. And I don't think it was only Fukushima nuclear power plant accident and earthquake that damaged Fukushima. For example, a student who evacuated from Fukushima to another prefecture was bleed. The Fukushima Prefecture produced crops suffered from extreme criticism in the media. People who were evacuated in taxis were requested to get radioactivity inspection and rejected for taxi rides. The worst news was that a relief truck driver who was afraid of exposure, so he did not carry supplies to the disaster area. Do you know this mean? People who in the disaster area couldn't eat enough food, couldn't drink enough water, and they had to lie afraid of earthquake and aftershock and high radiation, without hope and enjoyment. Can you feel it? Maybe you can't. At this time, I believed everything the media says. Japanese people believed media coverage as it was. If I had media literacy a little, I could have my own thinking, may have acted differently. I think lessons on media literacy at early age is required. It has been 7 years since Fukushima had the disaster, but I think it would be more accurate to say 7 years since the secondary disaster caused by earthquakes. I live in Fukushima City, so there was no direct primary damage from the power plant or tsunami damage, unlike the coastal area. But because of the high radiation, we were not allowed to play outside. There were no swimming class. Sports day was held only before noon. At that time, I was wearing short sleeves even in winter, and I was playing outside with friends. But because we cared what other people might think, we started wearing long sleeves and a mask. I could not even go out other than the way to and from school. The time to play in the school grounds most, we had to stay at home. 4 months after the earthquake, I went to Kumamoto with my grandparents, and I played outside. If it wasn't for the earthquake, I wouldn't have appreciated what is normal this much. Japan is famous for earthquake many. However, most foreigners who come to Japan for the first time are so surprised. Seeing is believing. I think even though listening to the story a lot, one does not believe if one does not have the actual experience. I want to have such experience in many countries in the future. I think there are a lot of things I don't know, and unless I go directly to the country, I want to experience seeing is believing in other countries, and I want to tell the experience to many people. I also want to help visitors to Japan to know more about Japan and its culture, of course, including about the earthquake. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Karen Yoko. I come from Fukushima City and I am 16 years old. When I was third grade of elementary school, when the Great East Japan earthquake had happened, I still clearly remember how awful it was. I was in the calligraphy class at that time. Although it has been shaking strongly, we escaped from the school building then. We waited for our families outside. It was so cold and many of my friends cried and felt scared a lot. A few days later, Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant accident happened. My mother worked at a high school in Fukushima City. About 300 citizens of Minami Soma City, located next to the power plant, escaped to my mother's high school. My mother's high school accepted them as it became evacuation center. My mother helped and supported them during their stay in the school gym. When I went there, I noticed how their lives had been so hard because they had been stayed there with no privacy. Especially, it seems too tough for little children and old people to stay there all day. After going back to school in April, I did not have PE class outside. I could not swim in the pool for 2 years. It was really stressful for me. When I was in the 6th grade, I could finally swim in the pool at school. I took part in the swimming tournament in city. I came 10th in the freestyle swimming. I was so happy to join the race. I really appreciate many one supported for overseas to our school. Their message encouraged us a lot. In addition, the nuclear power plant accident had serious impact on the natural environment of Fukushima. The animals were also affected by the radiation. I had some serious worry about how harmful the radiation is for both animals and nature. To my surprise, researchers still have not solved their problems yet because there are not other previous cases. Do you know the word Hibaku no Mori? It means forest escape to the radiation. I had heard of a word called hibakusha. It refers to a person who are victims of radiation. I had not heard of such them before. I know the animals are exposed to radiation just as human beings are. For humans, medical check system in the place that monitor health regularly every year. However, for animals, there is not such system. I always feel worried about animals live in the forest of Fukushima. According to a professor South Carolina University, some genes of birds were damaged there. I took part in his lecture and he showed us some pictures of birds which had damaged their wings. I was shocked to see them. It is said that when birds eat tree nuts and seeds. Finds in the forest, it affected deformity in their growth. The researchers say not much is known in this area, and we have to oversee very carefully how the ecosystems are being affected by the nuclear power plant accident. Some people say that disaster should be called the Great East Japan Nuclear Power Plant accident had tsunami earthquake instead of its current name. The Great East Japan earthquake, I agree with this statement of course. I should not forget how strong and harmful the tsunamis were at that time. Indeed, it is not easy to stand even in 40 centimeters high tsunami. A tsunami had hit at time was 10 times higher. However, I had read that the number of deaths caused by the nuclear accident surpasses the number of deaths caused by the tsunami. Can you imagine the reason? It is because those who had lost their jobs had escaped their hometowns, had faced such difficulties to live with hope, and they felt incredible solitude. This had resulted in increasing number of people who commit suicide 7 years past. Since the disaster, our daily lives in Fukushima seems to have recovered at basic level, but it's not enough for us to live truly happy lives before. Thank you.
Guten Tag. Ich bin Masaki. So, I'm from Iwaki City, Fukushima Prefecture. I'm a student of National Institute of Technology, Fukushima College. And I'm 17 years old. I'm the third grade of the college. So, my favorite sports are baseball and volleyball. So, today, I will be talking about my experience of the earthquake. So when the Great East Japan earthquake happened, I was playing with my friends in the schoolyard. Then, I was a member of a school children club. I was playing tags with my friends until school children bus came. Then, a rolling, shaking hit us with a rumbling sound like a monster's cry. Because at the time, I was still a fourth grade at elementary school, I was surprised by the tremor, which I had never experienced before. Some people were crying, but I just felt it was like a roller coaster, and I was laughing under the podium with my friend. At the time, I didn't know that it was a disaster that caused such great damage. After that, I went to the school children club and watched the news on TV, and I had lost my words. The sea changed tsunami. I saw the tsunami destroying our houses and buildings. Tears came out. When I was watching the scene, it was as if a monster was attacking people. I had thought that many people were having a hard time when I enjoyed shaking with my friends. Then, tears no longer stopped. I felt sad when I thought about my father who worked near the sea, my mother who had to deal with many children, and my older sister who went to school. Through this disaster, I learned about nuclear power generation nuclear disaster, the word that I had not known before was truly a terrible thing. And after the nuclear disaster, we evacuated to Aichi Prefecture, where my mother's parents lived for about 3 weeks. When I arrived in Aichi Prefecture, people always asked me first, were you exposed? But I couldn't answer correctly, just because I didn't know about nuclear disaster. Furthermore, they didn't know about radiation at all. Therefore, I felt my new neighbors were decidedly cold toward me. Also, because I lived in an unfamiliar place, I got homesick. During the evacuation, because I always watched the news program about the nuclear disaster and Great East Japan earthquake, I felt sad. After the evacuation, the elementary school resumed, but some evacuated classmates weren't in time for start of the team because of the nuclear disaster. So I talked to many people about the nuclear accident and the experiences of evacuation until now. If I hadn't had these experiences, I don't think I will be who I am now. Rather than grasping the earthquake as a negative thing, I regard it as the terrible power of nature in the past. I would like to tell people these experiences and lessons for the future. I haven't clearly decided on my future dream now. However, I'd like to live in Iwaki City, where I was born and have lived for a long time. There are many people who evacuated to Iwaki City from zones where it will be difficult to return because of the nuclear accident. I want to tell those people wonderful things about Iwaki City and its culture. For that reason, I don't want to leave Iwaki City. I will always be proud of Iwaki City. Thanks, Shane.
Hello everyone, my name is Hinako Mafune and I am 16 years old. I'm from Sukagawa City in Fukushima Prefecture, but now I live in Matsumoto City in Nagano Prefecture. It is 300 kilometers away from the Daiichi nuclear power plant. Now, I'd like to share my experiences when the earthquake happened from 2011 to today. Back then, I was a third grader at an elementary school and lived in Sukagawa City in Fukushima Prefecture. It is located about 60 kilometers away from the Daiichi nuclear power plant. I was in the classroom and everyone was standing at their desks to do a formal greeting to end the day. Suddenly, the classroom began to shake violently. I was very surprised and could not move. I went under my desk by the voice of my teacher. First, I felt exciting because it's like an attraction at an amusement park, but I gradually became terrified. I hoped, stop it. When the earthquake subsided, we went out from the school building to the school ground and waited for families to come to school. Shortly after, my mother came to pick me up. I felt safe, but my mother had a stern expression on her face. Our house hadn't had much damages. I thought life would go on as normal, and I felt relieved. However, 3 days later, on March 14th, there was an accident at the Daiichi nuclear power plant. By watching the picture of the accident on TV, even as a child, I felt it was a serious problem. The next day, my mother said, "Hey, Hinako, let's go. I felt happy because I thought I could go shopping with my mother. I left my hometown with my mother and I went to Nagoya City and then moved to a new city. These cities are 100 kilometers away from Fukushima, and we evacuated there for about 3 years. At that time, I was very confused, even though my mother decided to move to protect me from radioactive substances. Our life as voluntary evacuees was challenging. The situation gradually became worse mentally and financially. Before entering junior high school, I remember discussing many times with my mother whether we could return to Fukushima or continue our evacuation life. However, it seemed neither I nor my mother had the energy to continue. One day, my mother had told me about a new project named Matsumoto Kodomo Ryugaku. This is a project for Fukushima children who live together in dormitory. We were living apart from our own family, but the project members supported us very well. Then my mother told me, "Hey, Hinako, your body is precious because you haven't been exposed almost. So if you go back to Fukushima and be exposed, I was so sad." What my mother said made my decision to live apart from my family. But my life in Matsumoto was so sad. So I called my mother many times. I said, "I want to go back to Fukushima." But my mother only nodded and never said, "If you want, you can go back." I noticed she was so sad too. Gradually, my life became good and now go to a high school in Matsumoto City from the dormitory. I thank my mother so much. Someday, I want to help out children who might be exposed to radiation, not only for families living in Fukushima, but also for those living in east part of Japan. In the dormitory, we were accepted some children from Fukushima and its neighboring prefecture. I think it is important for those participants to spend time feeling refreshed and not worry about risks of exposure to radioactive substances. I felt it is important to continue such activities. Therefore, I want to help out with the project in the future. Thank you.
非常にみんな上達してて、最初トレーニングするときにはデニス君がインターネットで入ってくれたんですけど、みんなロボットみたいって言って。Do you say please? Translate.
Ja. Ja, also wir haben sehr, sehr viel trainiert, sehr, sehr viel geübt, auch das Englisch sprechen. Und am Anfang haben sich wirklich alle angehört wie Roboter und sehr viele Pausen, auch sehr lange Pausen.
My name is Naoya Kodama. I am from Fukushima City. I am 15 years old. 2011. Everybody, change. Many practice. Very good today. I'm very happy. みんなの成長を見てたらちょっと嬉しくなって。
Ja, alle sehr glücklich, weil die wirklich
ちょっとだけいいことしてるのかなと思いました。 ちょっとだけ僕もいいことしてるのかなと思いました。じゃあ、ちょっとクエスチョンタイム、みんなに逆に聞いてもいいし、皆さんから質問があれば、please question. Dennis, please.
Wenn ihr irgendwelche Fragen habt, stellt sie einfach. Keine Scheu.
はい、どうぞ。
少しアソシエーションの話をちょっとさせてください。
はい、はい。
ノンプロフィットというのをオーガニゼーションとしたけど、
はい。
どういうことかというと、
僕自身は2003年、2004年はイラクのバグダッドに行って、アメリカ軍の空爆で両親が殺された子どもたちの支援をしていました。
2013, 2014 war er in Irak und hat dort Kindern geholfen.
その時に、今日一緒に来てる、今ちょっとクライミングしてるナハコさんも一緒にバグダッドで一緒にイラクの子どもたちの支援をしてて、でその後2005年はスマトラ沖の津波の時にタイのカワラックのインターナショナルボランティアセンターで子どもたちの支援をしています。タイのスマトラアースクリカルキャンプ津波。
Ja, dort hat er dann die kennengelernt und dort haben wir halt zusammen den Kindern geholfen, bis dann halt das passiert, also bis das Fukushima große Erdbeben, das Tsunami und dann
2007年は新潟の柏崎に行ったり、いろんな津波とか地震とかの支援をしたりしています。その中で、アースウォーカーズでは今、福島の子どもたちの支援がメインで、外で遊べない子どもたちの支援をずっとしています。
Japan ist halt eine sehr erdbebenreiche Region leider und die Organisation hat sich jetzt gewidmet, diesen Opfern zu helfen, mit einem speziellen Fokus aus Leute von Fukushima, die halt nicht als Kinder nicht draußen spielen und die ganzen Erfahrungen, die man draußen sammelt, nicht sammeln kann.
ちっちゃい子供ほど外で遊ぶのが不安、お母さんがね、不安なので、外に出てなくて、それが少しずつ年が経つにつれ、外で遊ぶことも遊んでいる子たちの方が多いです。
Ja, also die Mütter haben halt Angst vor der Radiation und haben die nicht draußen spielen lassen.
けど、18歳以下の子供たちがチェルノブイリの時にチェルノブイリが出た方がいいというのがあったので、それを習ってアースウォーカーズのちっちゃい子だけじゃなくて、中学生はオーストラリア、高校生はドイツというプロジェクトを始めていきました。
Oder viele Jugendliche damals in Tschernobyl sich dann entschieden haben, halt zu fliehen, dachte er sich, okay, wir können nicht nur Kinder hier sozusagen erziehen mit den Sachen beibringen, sondern wir müssen auch andere Altersklassen mit einbeziehen.
Solche Organisationen braucht viel Geld. そのような会をやるのは非常にお金がかかりますよね。どういう形でそのお金を補佐してるというか、ストックしてやってるんですか？
それは難しい質問ですけど、僕のサラリーは、
それ一番大切なこと、はい、
僕のサラリーは1ヶ月600ユーロで1年間で1000ユーロぐらい、1万ユーロぐらい、800ユーロぐらい、8000ユーロぐらい。
1年で。
そう。ああ、いやいや。
Okay, also die hat halt gefragt, Geld ist halt sehr wichtig, ne? Und wie kann denn an die Organisation halt so an Geld kommen? Er hat gesagt, ja, das ist halt extrem schwer. Sein eigener Lohn ist bei 800 Euro pro Jahr.
で、いろんな人がドネーションしてもらってて、赤字になる時もあれば赤字にならない時もありますけど、こういう皆さんも今日ぜひもしよかったら会にドネーションしてもらって、This is joke ですけど、そういう形でいっぱいドネーションを集めています。
Ja, also die Organisation besteht halt sozusagen besteht nur aus Spenden von Leuten, die sich denken, okay, wir müssen spenden. Deswegen ist es ja auch non-governmental, also auch vom Staat. Und kann mit, also bitte, wenn ihr Geld habt, spendet. Spaß.
1年間で約200人から250人の支援をしてて、子どもたちの。今、震災から大体1000人ちょっと超えてるぐらいの支援をしてきました。
Also, jährlich unterstützt die Organisation ca. 250 bis 300 Kinder und insgesamt bis jetzt sind das ca. 1000 Missionare.
申し訳ないんですけど、英語のサイトがまだできてないので、デニツ君が来月頑張ってインターンで作るので、来月ぐらいには英語のサイトとドイツ語のサイトができると思います。
Es tut ihm sehr leid, aber die Organisation hat bis jetzt noch keine englischen oder deutsche Internetseite, wo man navigieren kann, aber innerhalb meines Praktikums werde ich daran arbeiten, also bald können Sie auch die Seiten auf der Englisch beginnen.
はい。他にクエスチョンありますか？
Eine Frage, wie sieht denn die Arbeit vor Ort aus? Also treffen Sie sich wöchentlich so in dieser Gruppe? Also Sie haben ja jetzt diese Reise ermöglicht, aber wie ist es dann so im Alltag vor Ort? Also was wird dann gemacht? In welchen Gruppen treffen Sie sich? Oder?
Okay. 日本でこのプロジェクトドイツで分かるけど、日本で何の仕事して、このグループ例えば生活で何する？ミーティングをやるのか、日本で何する？
僕らのアースウォーカーズのですか？アースウォーカーズの？なんかぜひこっちに質問してもらって嬉しいです。今、ボランティアが300人ぐらいいます。単発で参加してくれる人も含めて。で、中心メンバーの事務局は10人ぐらいいて、理事が13人ぐらいいるんですけど、この人たちにミーティングしながら、次どんなプロジェクトをしていくかっていうのをみんなで作っていってます。
Also es sind ca. 300 Freiwillige, die arbeiten, die halt auch in vielen verschiedenen Tätigkeiten jetzt sind. Das Problem ist halt, dass meistens, wenn diese Gruppe schon in Japan ist, natürlich macht man danach noch ein paar Mal Treffen, aber man ist immer damit beschäftigt, das nächste Projekt zu planen.
How long do you are together with the group? With this special group, how long?
このグループで今
どのくらい？このツアーで初めてみんな会いました。
このプロジェクトはずっと続くんですか？それとも1年間のこのプロジェクト終わったら次のまたプロジェクトということになるんですか？
この高校生のプロジェクトは8月の夏休みの間に2週間来ます。で、去年の2週間は違う高校生。その2週間は違う高校生で。という
ことは、毎年この高校生のプロジェクトは続いているということですか？
そうです、そうです。で、来年はベルリンが8月に学校をやってるので、来年は多分ベルリンの学校に高校生連れて行くことになっています。今年はこの学校にとても素敵な沼崎先生という方がいらっしゃって、今年はここにいる沼崎先生がとても素敵な先生で受け入れてもらっています。
いつも10人、9人から10人ですか？それとももっと多いことが？
毎年8人で予算がギリギリなんですね。で、2014年はドネーションが足りなくてスタートできません。高校生8人決まったけど、結局飛行機が買えずに中止になりました。だからお金が少なかったら5人の場合もあるし、多く集まったら増える場合もあります。
Von der Staat hat keine Unterstützung, nur von Spenden. あなたがこのプロジェクトを始めたんですか？
そうです、そうです。はい、ファウンダーです。僕、何でも答えられるんですけど、ぜひ高校生たちに質問してもらえると嬉しいなと思ってて。高校生質問ないですか
？Irgendwelche Fragen zu den Schülern?
さっきどなたか名前は覚えてないんですけど、やっぱり今でも悪にだっておっしゃってないってやっておっしゃったんだけど、今でもやっぱり毎日じ じゃないでしょうけれども、毎日の生活の中にちょうどあの時のあれが出てくるんでしょうね。
私ですね。アンナって言います。
はい。
今でも出てくるかって言われると出てこないんですけど、でもやっぱり3月11日になるとテレビとかですごいいっぱいやるじゃないですか。そういう時はちょっと思い出す時あるけど、でももう過去にできてます。多分自分の中で。
あなたは14歳と
15歳。
15歳ということは8歳の時の経験ということですね。7歳から8歳。Ich habe gefragt, irgendeine, die hatte mir erzählt, die über einen Albtraum noch hatte. Deswegen, jetzt hat sie noch dabei. Hatte sie nicht normalerweise, aber wenn am 11. März den Tag kommt, dann doch kommt so starke Erinnerung.
このカメラの向こうで彼らのお父さんお母さんが見てます。どうも。
Von der Film, da drüben ist das die Eltern schauen sie zu.
はい。他にクエスチョンありますか ？Please さっき授業中にいっぱい手挙げてたよみんな。
Gerade in dem Unterricht haben sehr viele Schüler schon Sachen gefragt. Also irgendwas. Keine Stelle.
Noch eine Frage.
Ja, muss schon.
Noch eine Frage. Was für eine Kriterien suchen Sie denn Kinder?
It's okay, it's okay. I'm comedian, it's okay.
どういう基準で子供たちを決めるんですか？たくさんいる中から選ぶっていうのは
そうです。一応これが終わって帰って、それで終わりとなると答えないので、終わって帰ってきてからも何度か高校生集まってエネルギーのことを学んだりしています。そういう中で、なんていうの、だから高校3年生はすぐ受験に入るので、3年生はなかなか受かりにくい。だから1年生とかが受かりやすくて、そういう書類選考しながら、その前に彼らも作文書くので、今のスピーチと違う作文で書類選考して決められます。
Aufsatz schreibt, den Lehrern und da diese Kriterien liest, dann suchen wir die Kinder oder Schüler. Und außerdem der dritte Jahrgang ist in Japan ist sehr, sehr hart nahe, weil die Aufnahmeprüfung für Uni. Und deswegen meistens alle erste und zweite Klasse.
こちらから質問ありますか？誰か。誰でもいいですよ。じゃあ僕から当てます。いいですか？僕が名前知ってるのはわずかですよ。いいですか？覚悟してください。沼崎先生お願いします。はい、今回高校生たちになんか質問でも何でも感想でもいいので。お父さんお母さんを見てるのでぜひよろしくお願いします。
スケルバルドギムナジウムの日本語の教師、まだじゃあ、そうですね。ドイツに来る前とドイツに来てからと、多分ドイツのイメージが変わったと思うんですね。何が変わりましたか？それを聞きたいです。
全員答えるとちょっと長くなるので、誰か答えたい人、手挙げて一人でいい？もう他にない？ないの？誰かもう一人答えなさい。誰かもう一人答えなさい。誰か考えておいてな。女子誰か考えておいてな。いいよ、日本語で。俺は英語で喋ってる
ドイツのことを来る前はあまり知らなくて、聞いた話ぐらいしかなかったんですけど、聞いてたのは積極的に発言する人が多いって聞いてました。一回訳して。
Vor dem Kommen wusste er halt wirklich kaum etwas über Japan, über Deutschland, außer halt vom Hörensagen.
Es gibt sehr viele Schüler, die im Unterricht sehr aktiv sind, zum Beispiel zu fragen oder zu reagieren.
そして実際にドイツに来て高校で授業を受けたときに日本と違って自分から思ったこととか言いたいことを発言している人が多かったから、そこの点は日本と違ってすごいなって思いました。
Tatsächlich. Im Unterricht habe ich durch meine eigenen Augen gesehen, dass im Unterricht sind die Schüler sehr aktiv zu fragen und zu reagieren und irgendetwas Kreatives zu machen. Das ist eine Überraschung, aber das war kein Unterschied. Genau wie ich früher vor dem Kommen vorgestellt habe.
あと食べ物はすごく美味しいです。
もう一人、アミもなんかドイツのイメージ。
私は以前に違う国に行ったことがあるんですけど、そこではやっぱり日本と食べ物が違くて口に合わなくて、なかなか乗れなかったんですけど、ドイツの食べ物がすごく美味しくて、すごい太りそうです。
Ich habe eine kleine Erfahrung in einem Auslandsaufenthalt. Und damals, das Essen von dort hat mir nicht besonders gut geschmeckt. Aber im Vergleich dazu in Deutschland, das ist eigentlich mit mir. Deswegen ich habe schon angefangen, mein Gewicht zuzunehmen.
あと、すごい歴史のある食べ物が多くて、たくさん写真を撮ったので、また日本に帰って友達に広めたりして、旅行でまた来たいなと思います。ありがとうございました。
Das ist denn das? Traditionelles Essen in Deutschland, das habe ich jedes Mal fotografiert. Also das Essen ist nicht nur das Essen, aber hinter dem Essen gibt es eine Geschichte. Und das habe ich sehr interessant gefunden. Deswegen, wenn ich zurück nach Hause, dann möchte ich also informieren, so meinen Freunden, Bekannten, Familien, was das war und wie das geschmeckt hat.
アミもう一つさっき言ってて、日曜日が休みなのがいいって言って、どのお店もね。ドイツで、だから日本は毎日24時間空いてるお店が多いので、家族と一緒にいる時間があまり少なくて、日曜日にみんな家族といるのを過ごして、ドイツのお店で仕事も休みなのがいいなっていう話をさっきちょっとしてました。
In Deutschland, ich habe das ganz gut gefunden. Das ist nämlich eine Geschichte sind zu Sonntag. Also die Familien treffen sich, also sie haben die Zeit, genug Zeit, mit der Familie zusammen zu tun, weil sonntags alle Geschäfte müssen betrieben sind. In Österreich, in Japan, jeden Tag auf, 24 Stunden auf. Es ist sehr viel. Deswegen, leider haben wir sehr wenig Zeit oder kaum Zeit, in der Familie zueinander etwas zu unternehmen oder etwas zu sprechen.
はい、ありがとうございます。じゃあ、せっかくなので、ホームステイをしているマティアス君、ひなこさんのホームステイしてもらってるんですけど、ちょっと質問いいですか、彼らに。質問でもメッセージでもどっちでもいいです。いや、OK。だけどみんな聞いてないから、ぜひしてください。 マティアス君、お母さんたち見てるからちょっと立ってもらっていいですか。
Was war Ihr Lieblingsreiseziel in Deutschland?
ドイツで、一番好きなところなので、場所。
フランクフルトから来てから、デュッセルドルフで3 days、and ベルリン3 days、ここも今4 days。はい、誰が言ってください。好きな理由もね。誰からいきますか。はい、言って。
日本語で大丈夫です。
どうぞ。どうぞ、日本語で。
My favorite phrase is my host family is.
One more time, let's go. はい。
理由は日本語ですか。
いいよ。
いつも、家に帰ると日本語で、例えば朝とかだったらおはようって言ってくれたり、日本語を頑張って覚えてくれて、それを使ってくれる。そうするとやっぱ日本人って嬉しいので、そういうところがすごくドイツ人の高いところで、すごくいいところ。
Ich glaube, das verstanden zu haben. Er hat gesagt, dass halt, wenn man halt morgens hat man dann in der Kamera. Wenn man das als Japaner dann halt in einem Land hört, macht man sehr, sehr glücklich. Das wird sehr, sehr zu Hause. Sehr, sehr schön.
だから今日は彼はドイツ語で挨拶したんですね、最初ね。はい、次誰がやりますか。生きてよかったこと、なんか思い出に残ってるところ。早く、どこでもいいよ。いや、相談しなくて誰でもいいから、手挙げて。早く、いっぱいいったよ、今回。どうぞ。
自分、合唱やってるので、その教会がすごい憧れがあって、昨日、ストマザーに連れてってもらったときに、声出したときにすごい響いてたので、それが一番の驚き。
Er persönlich, weil er selber im Chor ist, mochte er die Kirche sehr. Ja, für die Kirche sehr. Und vor allem, als er dann halt mit seinen Hochstimmen vorgehört hat.
Die Akustik der Kirchengebäude.
私がもう一回訪れたいなって思ったところはケルン大聖堂です。ガラスが本当にすごく綺麗で、上にも登れるって聞いたので、もう一回機会があればドイツに来て上まで登りたいと思います。
Sie fand den Köln sehr toll, auch von den Dom gegangen. Ich fand das Glas sehr schön. Und wenn Sie nicht noch sehen, haben Sie uns definitiv.
OK、はい。きなこ。
私はすごいベルリンが良かったなと思って、ベルリンの国会議事堂みたいんですけど、市民の活動を市民が参加できる政治を行うための国会議事堂がそういう意思を表しているような感じで、そして市民だけじゃなくて全世界の人々が幸せに暮らせるような憲法が作られてきてすごいなと思います。
Wenn ich irgendwo ich vermute, ich glaube, dass Berlin am meisten machte. Wir waren ja auch im Bundestag und im Bundestag gesehen, das schon auch. Er sah schon ganz toll aus. Wir fanden auch cool, dass sehr viele Leute aus verschiedenen Ländern da waren. Genau. Und wir haben auch ein bisschen über die deutsche Verfassung gelernt, ein bisschen die japanische. Sie fand die deutsche Verfassung halt sehr toll. Das Grundgesetz haben wir jetzt gelernt, das fand sie sehr toll.
最後、もう時間いっぱいなので。
僕が思い出に残っているのはデュッセルドルフで、デュッセルドルフの環境局に行ったんですけど、その時にデュッセルドルフがどんな活動をしているのか学べたことがすごく印象的でした。でその後、
Wir waren, also er mochte Düsseldorf am meisten, weil wir waren da bei, ich weiß jetzt auch nicht ganz genau, wo der Ort heißt, aber das ist halt die Stadtverwaltung, die, und da spezifisch die Abteilung, die sich um erneuerbare Energien und Umwelt kümmert. Und da haben wir halt sehr viel über Umwelt und erneuerbare Energien gehört.
その後、デュッセルドルフの独日協会、県人会、
福島県人会
の方と一緒に食事をしたんですけど、デュッセルドルフで活躍されている福島の方のお話を聞くことができて、すごく親近感が湧いたし、非常に参考になりました。
Okay, danach haben wir uns mit Leuten aus Fukushima, also mit dem Zusammenkommen aus Leuten aus Fukushima in NRW getroffen und mit denen geredet und die hatten auch sehr schöne Erfahrungen, die uns erzählen konnten. Es war toll, mit denen zu essen, mit denen zu reden und einige Sachen in Erfahrung zu bringen. Fukushima.
ありがとうございました。ちょっとこれ4時半から次の予定が入っているので、ちょっと残り1分ぐらいなので、ここで終わっちゃいますけど、今日は高校生たちと皆さんと出会えてすごく良かったなというふうに思います。
ちょっとミッテンベル
話しますね。一旦これ終わってそれら下がってでする。けどこれ待ってくるの大変なので、なのでちょっとそれで一旦彼らに大きな拍手をしてもらっています。今から話をするので、必要なことがあるといいかもしれない。今から始まるので、勉強がちょっと30分ぐらい話を。はい、福島の高校生たち、本当にスピーチがどんどん上達してて、思わずさっき目薬を入れて涙を出しましたけど、あれ、デーツいないね、これ。悪いやつだな、いいけど。はい、ありがとうございました。ぜひ、ドネーションも必要なところにあるんじゃないです。ぜひまたよろしくお願いします。で、これからちょっと大学の先生にちょっとエネルギーのことについて話してもらう予定なので、お時間が残っている方は残っていただいて、時間ない方はもうホストファミリーを変える方もいるみたいなので、ちょっと状況を見ながら。
Ist das Professor Mittelberg leider ein bisschen weniger Zeit geworden. Können Sie dann mindestens ein bisschen 10 Minuten, was Sie vorhaben, kurz reden?
Ich kann ganz kurz meine Arbeit vorstellen. Aber,
ja.
Wir sollten das auf Deutsch machen. Ja. Fängt das von hier oder davon kommen?
Sind Sie jetzt?
Jetzt sind die japanischen Schüler nicht da, sonst
die Rassismus.
Ja, ich weiß jetzt nicht, ob die
はい、
Okay, dann übersetze ich für die
Ja, ist das besser auf Englisch? May I speak on English? Do you understand the Japanese?
Englisch ist gut. Okay,
von Deutsch auf
oder für die Schüler ist es auch Englisch.
Englisch
Haben
ist
Sie
okay.
gesagt, ja.
English is okay for you.
Ja, wenn ich übersetze, brauchen wir mehr Zeit. Das ist
Yeah,
ein Problem.
I think when I talk in English very short for you, I want to introduce myself. My name is Jan Mittelberg. Mittelberg is in Japanese Nakayama. First, I want to say thank you to you for the invitation, and I want to say thank you to all the Japanese